Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here with our brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Shop video today. Taking a go out today, see if things came out, see if things are on sale today. Today though, there's a bunch of really big releases that come out, like It Chapter 2, that one releases today. And I know Best Buy has an exclusive steelbook of that one. I have a feeling though that's one of those steelbooks that's going to sell really fast. I don't believe there's any other exclusives of that one, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that releases today, and that one has a whole bunch of exclusives as well, like Target has one which comes with a book, Walmart's includes postcards, and then of course Best Buy has a steelbook release of that one. I also did a video yesterday, if you guys haven't seen it, showing all the editions of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so definitely check that out. I do like a detailed unboxing and look at all those ones. Also though, today the movie Hustlers, that releases today. I don't believe there's any exclusives of that. Also the John Travolta film The Fanatic releases on Blu-ray and DVD today. Also at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys, so definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And as always too, leave me comments below letting me know what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed. If you guys have seen them, what you guys thought of them. Also, if you guys plan on picking any of them up. Also too, right before the reviews is an unboxing look at the Camp Blood Blu-ray collection from David Sterling, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. I also want to let you guys know some really cool news. The trailer for the upcoming horror comedy film which I'm acting in, Mr. Bleachers, is now up online. I'll put a link below for that one, so definitely if you guys get a chance, check out the trailer for that one. But, we're heading into Target now, and hopefully they have out the new stuff, because so often Target doesn't change out the releases, but we'll see. I feel like usually when they have really big releases they do, but not always, so we shall see though. But like I said, definitely check out the Mr. Bleachers trailer. Also should mention too, I didn't get to see any movies this past weekend, so there's no movie reviews of things I saw in the theaters, but let me know in the comments below though if you guys got to see anything, movies this past weekend and what you guys got to check out. But right here though in the front though, I do see the new releases here. So that's cool, they have this stuff out. We'll have to look in the section as well to see if there's anything different. But It Chapter 2 here on 4K, that one is $29.99 for that one. And then the Blu-ray of that one is $24.99. And I really like this movie. I talked about this last Tuesday in my review portion at the end, if you guys didn't get to see it, the review of this one, but really like this movie. And then the DVD is $17.99 for that one. And a lot of times the cover on the DVD is different in some of the stores. So like this one, it's I believe this one includes the features. Sometimes they have different ones, so we'll have to look and see if Walmart has a different cover on the DVD of this one. And then also though, they do have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in here, and they have the exclusives, and that one's $24.99 for that one. And this includes the exclusive film magazine in this release here, as well as the standard Blu-ray. That one's $24.99 as well. And then the DVD of the film is $19.99. They also do have Hustlers down here on Blu-ray, and that one's $24.99 for that one. Like I said though, we'll head over to the section to see if there's anything else different over there though. Yes, I went over the actual section and it was all the same stuff from last Tuesday. Let me know in the comments below though if your store had like a standee or anything like that for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or for It Chapter 2 or anything like that. But at least they did change out the stuff from the front of the store. But like I said, nothing changed at all in the section, all the same stuff from last week. Into Walmart we go. But in here today, like I was saying, the big thing that came out was It Chapter 2, and the Blu-ray of that one is $24.96 for that one. And I think this is the DVD spot for it for $16.96. And I don't see any 4Ks, but I believe they're going to have them, I think, because I feel like this would be a spot for them. And then when it comes to It, though, they also have this It 2 film collection here for $22.96 for the DVD, and then $27.96 for the Blu-ray of both the films. So that's a really good price, because it's only a couple dollars more to get the first film here in this collection. So if you guys don't have the first film, definitely get the Walmart one, and you guys want both of them. So that's definitely a great price for that one. And then when it comes to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I don't see any of the Walmart exclusives here for it. But the 4K one, that one is $27.96 for that one. I'm going to be reviewing and talking about the 4K at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And then the Blu-ray here is standard Blu-ray is $22.96 for that one. Hustlers here, the 4K of Hustlers is $27.96, and then the Blu-ray is $22.96 for that one, and then $17.96 for the DVD. Other than that though here, I don't see anything else new. There is some empty spots though, but you always have to check in the section over here now because they started mixing in the new releases. So I did see some stuff over here, like they do have the Fanatic in here, and I'm going to be talking about this at the end of this video as well. But this movie, I absolutely love this movie. I know it's got like mixed reviews and everything, but I would definitely recommend you guys check this out. Like I really like this movie. Definitely one of those movies that like out of the year that to me is like the most like one of those ones you kind of really remember just because of what happens and everything in it. Also, I believe this was released today. This one called Badland, and also these are great prices on this because only $12.96 for the Blu-ray, $9.96 for the DVD. Badland, I believe this was today for $14.96 for the Blu-ray and $12.96 for the DVD. And then this one, Encore, which I'm going to be talking about this at the end of this video. The Cotton Club, the Encore cut of the film. That one is $14.96 for the Blu-ray, $9.96 for the DVD. Let's see other ones here. This one here may have been this week. I'm not sure. I have to read about this one. I'm not sure what this was about, but I might get this one. This one's $12.96. Like I said, I have to read what this one is. Other than that, though, some of this stuff was last week that I didn't see out in the one that I was in last week. So let's see. This is another one that came out today. This one, Freaks. I should be getting a copy of this one to review soon. And I've heard really good things about this one. Really look forward to watching this. That one is $16.96, and that for the Blu-ray and $14.96 for the DVD. Let's see anything else in here that I don't remember seeing last week. Like in here is where there should be a couple things. I know I saw all these ones here. They might not have had this one out last Tuesday. I'm not sure. Let's see. I know I saw these ones. I don't remember seeing Portals out last Tuesday, and that one's $9.96 for that one. This is like an anthology film. It's all about these like portals that show up in different areas. And then Rebel Born, I don't think I saw some of these ones, like some of these Christmas, like Hallmark ones. Christmas Scavenger Hunt, I don't believe I saw that one last Tuesday. Let's see if there's anything different here TV-wise. The Curse of Oak Island, the first 6 seasons is $24.96. I think that one might have been today. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was. Other than that, though, not seeing anything else here different, though. Yeah, so in there, though, I ended up getting The Curse of Buckout Road. I don't really know much about this one, but it sounded interesting. If you guys have seen it, though, let me know in the comments below, what you guys thought of this one, if you have seen this one yet. But now I'm going to head over to Best Buy, and we'll see if they have any of those steelbooks still. Into Best Buy we go. And hopefully in here, though, they have the stuff out, because last Tuesday I went to 2 different Best Buys, and neither of them had out any of the new releases at all. So I feel like that was just because of Black Friday, and I heard a lot in the comments, some other people were saying that their stores didn't either. But I feel like today they will, since it's really big stuff, but we shall see, though. And yeah, I do see the new things in here, and there's like some kind of a Best Buy exclusive. Oh, so they have a Best Buy exclusive here, a 2-film collection here. So I guess the only way to get the 4K edition, if you guys want both the films on 4K, is in here in Best Buy, and that one's $39.99 for that one. And then the standard 4K, the regular 4K is $29.99 for that. I see a spot though for the exclusive, but there's none here. We'll have to look in the section to see if there's any more. And then the Blu-ray DVD combo, that one is $24.99 for that one, and then $17.99 for the DVD. Let's see, other than that though, I believe this was out last week. I'm not 100% sure though. And then Hustlers here on Blu-ray is $22.99, and then $27.99 for the 4K of that one. And then also this released last Tuesday. I didn't get to show this because I didn't see it out. And this is like the Spider-Man limited edition steelbook collection. I don't know for sure if this is exclusive to Best Buys or not, but it has like Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Venom. So this is a cool set here, and this one is $49.99 for that one. Other than that though, right here, I don't see anything else different here. Let's head over though to the other side though to see about, oh yeah, so they do have a bunch of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood here, 4K steelbooks, and that one's $32.99 for the 4K steelbook. And then the standard 4K is $27.99, and then $22.99 for the Blu-ray, and then $19.99 for the DVD. Other than that though, here it looks like these are all the main things here, so we'll head over to the actual section, see anything different they have. And over here, though, in the actual section here, I don't see any of the 4K steelbooks here either. So those ones, like I had a feeling those ones are going to sell really fast. Other than that, though, they have all the Game of Thrones here. These ones released last week, and I don't think I showed this last Tuesday. I don't believe I remember seeing this because, like I said, the Best Buys didn't have the stuff out. But the Simpsons: The Complete 19th Season, that one's $37.99 for that one, and they do have the Fanatic here as well. Like I said, I really like this movie a lot, and that one's $12.99 for that one. And Badland here, that one's $14.99 for that one. And then over here, when it comes to Once Time in Hollywood, they don't have any more steelbooks here, though they had a lot in the front. They also have the movie here with with Nina Dobrev and Crispin Glover, Lucky Day. This is directed by Roger Avery, who was one of the writers on Pulp Fiction. Also did a movie called Rules of Attraction. I thought this was a fun movie. That one's $14.99 for that one. They have Cotton Club Encore here for $14.99. And then Freaks here, that one's $16.99 as well. Like I said, we'll have a review of this one soon, just waiting for the copy of that one to come. Other than that, though, here, let me just see if there's anything else different here that I'm missing or didn't see last week. It looks like, as far as I can tell, that's all the main things here new I see. It doesn't look like there's anything here I'm missing. I have heard some stores got the Phantasm Spear. I saw some pictures online, like the Phantasm collection was going to have like a spear to it, like a spear from the movie. And there was like a new edition here, but I don't see that one here anywhere. If you guys saw that in any of your stores, though, let me know in the comments below. So anyway, though, guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments below, though, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, and like if your store too had the steelbooks in. Like I said, I felt like I had a feeling those were going to be ones that sold really, really fast. Also, as well, let me know, what you guys thought of all the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed at the end of this video. What you guys thought of them. Have you guys seen any of them? And if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway, though, guys, like I said, thanks again for all the support. Now, stay tuned for the brand new reviews. Now, before we get to reviews, I have a really cool collection here to show you guys. Now, this set here, you guys can order exclusively from producer David Sterling. And I have a link below to his Facebook page where you guys can, if you guys are interested in ordering this collection here. And this is the Camp Blood collection here. And this is a Blu-ray set. And it's a really, really cool box here. And I'm going to show you guys, though, a look inside. And I'm actually in 3 of the Camp Blood films, which are in this set. Camp Blood 4, Camp Blood 5, and the most recent film, Camp Blood 8. And now, in Camp Blood 8, I have a really, really big part in that movie. It's basically the characters are lost in the woods, and they come across me, and I'm like a survivalist kind of guy living out in the middle of the woods, and my character pops in and out of the movie throughout the film. And if you guys don't know the Camp Blood movies, they're basically, though, about this crazy killer clown that's stalking the woods, killing campers and all that kind of stuff out there in the woods. But what's cool is with this set, it also includes this little mini killer clown character here, and it is a flash drive. So when you open it up like this, you get the newest Camp Blood film, Camp Blood 8 in 4K. So if you guys want to see the movie in 4K, you guys can see it in this flash drive. It also includes a smaller definition version of the film as well, but it has the 4K one, and then I think it's just a regular HD version of the movie as well. It also includes this book here, this Camp Blood book, which has all sorts of other posters for other David Sterling productions, films that he's produced. Some of the ones in here I'll show you guys, like Camp Blood Kills, one of the witchcraft films. And also, David Sterling has a web store as well, where you guys can order these movies separately as well, like some of the ones in the set separately, like Camp Blood 8. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I think you can order this flash drive as well, if you guys want the 4K version on its own as well. But like I said, I'll have a link for David Sterling's Facebook page, so you guys can, he'll tell you exactly how to order them and everything. Let me see any other ones in here to show, like Camp Blood 3 here. And then there were some posters in here for like Robo War, Things 5, Empire of the Apes. So a really cool book that's included with it. And I'll show you guys, though, a look inside at the box set. So it opens up like this, and inside of here you get all of the Camp Blood films. And you get like the double feature here with Camp Blood, double feature in 3D. You have Camp Blood 3, First Slaughter, and all these ones too. A number of them have brand new artwork that's done to look like old school, like horror VHS kind of covers. Really, really great artwork on these. Camp Blood 4, this one's directed by Dustin Ferguson. This is one of the ones that I have a cameo in. I shot a scene for this one. The same goes for Part 5. I shot a cameo as well for this one. Camp Blood 666 here, and then Camp Blood 7, and as well as Ghost of Camp Blood, and then Camp Blood Kills, which is a compilation of like kill scenes and death scenes from the Camp Blood movies, and then finally Camp Blood 8. Like I said, message David Sterling though, and he'll tell you about like the, you know, how to order these separately as well. But this one, like I said, I have a really great part in this one. Really cool movie. But like I said, just want you guys to know that this was available from David Sterling. A really cool set here. But now onto the reviews, and the first one I got here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line, and it's the Universal Horror Collection Volume 3 here on Blu-ray. This includes 4 different films. It has Tower of London, which has Basil Rathbone, Boris Karloff, Vincent Price in the film, Man-Made Monster, which has Bela Lugosi in the film, The Black Cat, which has Basil Rathbone, as well as Bela Lugosi is in the film, and Horror Island. And I'll read you a little bit about the films, though. It has a ruthless king rises to power with the help of his mad executioner in Tower of London. A mad scientist transforms a carnival performer into a murderous monster in Man-Made Monster. And it has The Black Cat. A group of greedy hares find themselves stuck in a creepy mansion where one by one people turn up dead. And what started as a treasure-making scheme ends up deadly for a group of people stuck in a haunted castle with a killer known as the Phantom in Horror Island. Horror Island, though, was the one that I got to check out, and I had never seen that movie before. And I thought that was a really fun movie. It was like these guys that were like treasure hunters, and one of them like had heard about, like, had this map, and like and they were going to try and get to this castle where they believed the treasure was. And there was like this phantom character who was kind of stalking around and like lurking around and spying and everything. And the one guy had this huge earring that he was wearing. He was like the pirate character. I really liked that one. Like I said, I had never seen that film, but all these films are from the late 30s to the early 40s. Tower of London, though, that has on there a brand new 2K scan. On that one has a new commentary track on here with author and film historian Steve Haberman, as well as a still gallery, and that movie's from 1939. Man-Made Monster, that one has a brand new commentary track on here with author and film historian Tom Weaver, as well as film historian and filmmaker Konstantin Nasser, as well as a still gallery. And that movie's from 1941. The Black Cat's from 1941 as well. That has a brand new commentary track on here with author and film historian Gary D. Rhodes, as well as a theatrical trailer and a still gallery. And that movie's from 41 as well. And Horror Island is from 41 as well. And that has a new commentary track with author and film historian Ted Newsom, as well as a theatrical trailer and a still gallery. Also in here, each movie is on their own disc, for those wondering. So they're all on their own individual discs in here. So it's a 4-disc set here, and also includes a booklet which has some stills from the movie and stuff about the production and the cast and all that kind of stuff. So it's Tower of London here, Man-Made Monster, The Black Cat, and as well as Horror Island. Like I said, a really cool collection here. All the movies, too, picture quality wise, look great here. So a really cool set. I know, too, Shout Factory, Scream Factory announced that they're going to be doing a Volume 4 of this one as well, coming out soon. The next one here is from Lionsgate, and it's a Francis Ford Coppola movie, which I'd never seen before. It stars Richard Gere, Gregory Hines, Diane Lane, Nicolas Cage, Lynette McKee, and it's Cotton Club, the Encore version of the film, which is a new cut of the film. I never actually saw the original cut, so I don't know for sure like all the major changes and everything on here, but there's an introduction, though, by Francis Ford Coppola talking some about, like, some things that were kind of added to it and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I never saw the original film. It's basically, though, it's set in, was it 1930s? And it's basically, though, about Richard Gere's character who works at this nightclub playing the, I think he plays the bugle, I believe. I can't remember what he plays, but he was there, but he ends up like this high-profile guy who comes into the club that people are kind of have, like, enemies with and don't like him and everything. This guy kind of throws this dynamite under his chair, but Richard Gere's character like warns him and says, oh, he threw the thing under there, and he saves this guy. Because of that, he ends up taking him kind of under his wing and kind of befriending him, and like kind of owes a debt to him. So it's kind of about this, and it's like going with Richard Gere's, you know, job there, and it's about Gregory Hines' character who with his friends like audition there to be in the band in the show there, because they have like these shows and all these kind of things that go on at this club, but as well as like kind of mob stuff going on as well. And that's how the one guy that Richard Gere saves was into the mob, and it kind of deals with like all the going-ons about like putting on these shows at this club, as well as like the enemies that kind of are coming in as well. So Richard Gere kind of finds himself like, you know, sort of like into this crowd, which he's kind of happy to be, you know, kind of recognized and have a high-profile friend and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's all sorts of dangerous kind of things. And it's like his friend, too, like, you know, that he befriends and he saved, like, he kind of has, like I said, all these sorts of enemies. And he's kind of goes off the edges very easily, the way he acts and stuff. I thought this was actually an interesting movie. Like I said, I had never seen this one before at all. Also, who were some of the other people who were in here? You know, trying to remember who else was in it. Bob Hoskins was also in the movie. James Remar was in the film. I think it was one of the really early Nicolas Cage movies. What year was this from, too? I can't remember 100% sure what year this one was from. But like I said, this is the new cut of the film. But it also has on here, though, the Cotton Club Encore Q&A on this one, feature-wise. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. And this is the sequel to Burning the Dolphin. This is Burning the Dolphin 2. I reviewed the first one of these, the film that came out, I think it was like a year or so ago, maybe a year or so, when the first one was released. And it was about like these two kids who were basically they found this dolphin, and then they basically found out that this part of this land, Kevin Sorbo's character wanted to like buy up this land and like, you know, kind of like I think he was like building a bank or something like that in this land. He wanted to do something else with it, so they have to try and like save the day and everything. But the new one though, Kevin Sorbo's character, you know, went to prison in the first movie, but now his character has gotten out of prison. It's the two kids who work at this animal sanctuary, which is like a dolphin kind of sanctuary place where they have like dolphin shows and they have like you know, animals and all kind of marine life and stuff like that there. And Kevin Sorbo's character though gets out of prison, and he ends up having to actually work there as like his, you know, after, you know, out of his probation from getting arrested and out of prison. That's what he has to do, is work there. So they have to kind of work with him, and they don't want to work with him because it's kind of like, well, he did this terrible stuff, you know, the first time around, and like these schemes and all kinds of things, and now they have to work with him, and he wants to try and like kind of apologize for the stuff he did. But one of the people though is basically blaming him and this dolphin these kids were friends with from the first movie, who they've discovered in the new one, where he lives and stuff now, with the kind of area that he is. But basically, though, this guy who was like, I can't remember who he was in the first movie, but he basically wants Kevin Sorbo's character to get revenge and end up, you know, kidnapping this dolphin. And Kevin Sorbo's character kind of is trying to not do anything bad because he kind of wants to do his time and then kind of forget all this kind of stuff and kind of move on. But he's kind of like forcing him into doing it. And it's kind of like if Kevin Sorbo's character is going to kidnap this dolphin and all this kind of stuff. I actually thought this was a fun movie. It's definitely more for kids, but I thought it was like a really fun family movie. But on here, though, it has a behind the scenes. I think it's like a bunch of different interviews and stuff like that about the making of and talking stuff about the first movie, as well as a trailer gallery on this one. The next one here is from Universal, and this is Downton Abbey, the motion picture here. This is the DVD, Blu-ray, digital copy combo edition of the film here. Now, when it comes to the show, though, I only saw a couple episodes. I know I reviewed some of it, some of the seasons, because I can't remember how many seasons the show went for, but I know that I reviewed some of them and I saw a couple episodes, but I'm not super familiar with everything in the show and all the characters and all the character arcs and that kind of stuff. But I still feel like even if you didn't see the show, you'd still be able to pick up for the most part about what's going on the show. But it's basically about like this kind of mansion where it's like the it's kind of about like the people that live, that you know, of course, that live there, and then like the basically the servants there who are like you know, cleaning the house and making the food and all that kind of stuff. And they say too, it's like about the upstairs downstairs, like, you know, relationships, where it's like the people who are the upper class and have all the money and everything, and then the people who are the, you know, considered downstairs, who are the ones that work for them, do all the cooking and the cleaning and everything. And in this movie here, though, this is about like the king and queen are going to be coming to stay at Downton Abbey, at the the mansion. It's kind of all about the planning of that, and about having to have to bring this one character in to try and like kind of get everything perfect, because they want everything to be absolutely perfect for the king and queen to be coming there. And then it deals with too, like the king and queen's characters, they bring their own group along and their own staff and everything to there as well, and it's kind of like the clash between them and like their ways of doing things and Downton Abbey's group ways of doing things and everything. I actually thought this was actually a well done movie. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with the show, so can't like say everything about all the characters and everything, but on here though it has over 30 minutes of bonus content. It has deleted scenes. It has upstairs, downstairs cast conversations on here. Feature-length commentary track on here with the director on this one. So lots and lots of features here on this release. And the next one I got here is from Quiver Distribution, and this is The Fanatic, starring John Travolta and directed by Fred Durst. Now, I'm going to say I absolutely, positively love this movie. Now, I know the movie has got some, mixed reviews and everything, but this to me is one of those kind of movies that I'm going to remember forever. It's one of those movies that is super memorable, and like everything about this one I loved. And it's basically though about John Travolta's character, who is this really obsessed, super fan of Devon Sawa's character, who's this kind of action movie star, who's been in like low budget action movies, lots of different horror movies and stuff like that, and he's like a huge fan, like absolutely like obsessed with him, has all of his movies, has posters, wants to get has props and stuff from the movies that he's worn, had, and like wardrobes and all kinds of stuff, and that's really what he spends all of his money on. He's just basically obsessed with him. He's like one of the main people he obsesses with, and he ends up finding out at this comic book kind of prop movie store. He finds out that Devon Sawa's character will be going there signing, so he ends up finding out that his friend who owns the place has this piece of wardrobe that he really wants, and he ends up saying, would you let me have this for really cheap? And he's like reluctantly says, okay, you have to pay me. He wants way more money, but he gives it to him for really cheap and says, okay, you got to pay me back later. And basically though, he has this thing that he really wants to have him sign, and he has all these other things as well, because his character's there to sign this book. But he gets there, and right when he gets in line, and it's right time for his turn to get his autograph from Devon Sawa's character, he gets this basically he has to leave because like his wife is out there and needs to talk to him, and then he ends up getting angry with his wife, and then he doesn't want to do the signing, and John Travolta's character goes out there and says, I believe you forgot about me. You left and you didn't get to sign my thing, and he ends up saying, sorry, I'm leaving now, I gotta go, I'm not gonna sign this. And John Travolta's character is really unhappy about this, because it was like his dream to get him to sign this, and he spent this money on this thing. And then he finds out from his friend, who's like this, she does like, paparazzis and stuff like that, about apps and stuff where you can get stars' homes and stuff like that. And he gets this app from her, and then he tracks down to where Devon Sawa's character lives. And then he goes out there outside of the house waiting for him to sign it then. And basically he goes ballistic to Devon Sawa's character, what he does, and he does this demeaning thing to John Travolta's character, and from there the obsession and the stalking really begins. And that's all I can say, but like I said, I honestly absolutely love this movie. I don't know why there's so many mixed opinions with it, because I thought John Travolta did an amazing job in this, playing a character who just really is absolutely obsessed. His character definitely has a form of, Asperger's kind of situation, but I thought that he just did such a great job in this. Honestly, I really, really like this movie. I've been to conventions, and there's people that are, really serious fans that can be really obsessive, but at the same time, Devon Sawa's character really, in the very beginning of this, mistreats him and kind of eggs on Travolta's kind of in this film, his obsession. And Fred Durst too did a great job in this one. I definitely hope that he does more films that he directs and everything, and was a co-writer of this movie as well. I also love too, they even have a scene when they play a Limp Bizkit song, and I like the way they included that. The next one in here is from Warner Brothers. They sent over a free copy of this one, let you guys know that this one was available, and this is the complete fourth season here of Fuller House here on DVD. Like I said, this is the complete fourth season here of the show. Now, I won't say I have not not watched all the episodes of Fuller House. I've watched sporadic episodes here and there. I believe season 5, which is the one that's about to air soon, is the final season. I'm pretty sure that's the season that the show is on now. But when it comes to the original series, though, that was like one of those shows that I grew up with as a kid. I was the same age as, Mary-Kate and Ashley, so it basically, like, that to me, when I look back at Full House, that was like my childhood. Like the toys that they had at the time, you see in the background, the kind of things that they're referencing, like all that stuff was like the stuff that at the same time that I was like watching or knew about and all that kind of stuff. But this now, though, is, the show is, with Cadence Cameron's character and, Jodie Sweeney's character, them, Sweeten's character, it's them now, of course, and like them with their kids, and Kimmy Gibbler is now living in the house. It's basically them all living together, and then their relationships and their kids, and Kimmy Gibbler's character is pregnant. It's just sort of like all about the ups and downs with their kids in school and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I think this is actually a cool show. And you see like Bob Saget and John Stamos and Dave Coulier and stuff, pop in episodes here and there as well. And the next one I got here is from Sony, and this is the 4K Ultra HD Edition, which includes the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the digital copy of Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, this is one of those movies I will say, if you guys have not seen this movie, this is an absolute must-watch. This film is definitely going to be in my list of top favorite films this year. Like, I absolutely love this movie. If you guys have not seen this movie, though, it's, like I said, it's directed by Quentin Tarantino and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. And it's essentially, though, about Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who, he is an actor, and he's done a lot of work. He was doing a lot of film work. He had a really successful TV show, which had ended, but now he's like doing, and one of the films that he didn't do too well, so now he's kind of doing a lot of guest appearances on TV shows, a lot of westerns, and he's really trying to kind of get his career to come back again and to get into films again. Margot Robbie's character, she plays Sharon Tate, and she lives right next door to Leonardo DiCaprio, and her character is like starting to have this career and getting big work and in these big theatrical films, so he lives right next to her, and he's kind of seeing her success and everything, and it kind of goes between all the characters. And Brad Pitt's character, though, is friends with Leonardo DiCaprio, and they became friends because he was his stunt double on some of the films and the TV that he did. And kind of now, he's not really getting much work himself. He's pretty much just kind of driving around Leonardo DiCaprio because he can't drive anymore. He lost his license. So he's kind of driving around, picking him up, taking him places. And Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to kind of get Brad Pitt some work as well. And it's just kind of all about the characters and kind of all that they're doing. And then, with Leonardo DiCaprio trying to kind of have his comeback. And, like I said, Brad Pitt's character kind of trying to figure out exactly what he's going to do because he's trying to get work as well. And then Margot Robbie's character, who is, like I said, playing Sharon Tate, and her big success in her movie, and it also has to deal with, there's a whole lot of other subplots and things that connect to this. I don't want to ruin this movie. This is one of those movies where I feel like it's really cool to go into this movie not knowing too much about it, but it was so well done. I absolutely love this movie. Lots and lots of character actors as well pop up throughout this film. 4K wise, though, this movie, it was shot on film, so it looks great on 4K. So if you guys have 4K capacities, this is definitely one I would recommend on 4K. And like I've said in the past with 4K, the big thing you notice is the HDR, which is the high dynamic range, which is all dealing with the contrast levels. So you see much more definition to the contrast, difference in the colors, and also all around too. I feel like with 4K, like what I always notice so much is it's a much more brighter, vibrant picture. Now on here though, it has a whole bunch of different features. It has 7 additional scenes. It has a whole bunch of different featurettes on the making of the film, about the fashion of 1969, about the cars in the film, because that's the one thing with the movie is Quentin Tarantino really did an amazing job with recreating the way it looked in 1969, and he was even going as to have like the music they're listening to on the radio was the real music that was playing then, like from the actual like playlists from the radio back then, and like he didn't do like the backgrounds when they were driving through LA like digitally. He actually went and recreated these things and did, like I said, did an absolutely amazing job. But if you guys have not seen this movie, definitely 100% must watch. Really love this one. And the next one I got here is from Paramount. Now, this is one I just wanted you guys to know was available. And this is the Showtime series, The Loudest Voice, the inside story of the man who built Fox News. And this stars Russell Crowe as Roger Ailes, who is, the head of Fox News. And this is kind of all about, it goes, the episodes all go throughout the years that Roger Ailes was there, like 1995, 2001, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2015, 2016. But it basically goes all throughout the years that he was there, about like when he first started getting there, and then building up Fox News, and about the allegations with him, and all sorts of things. And it's a really great performance though by Russell Crowe here. Like I said, though, it's interesting how they have every one of the episodes be a different time frame and everything. But on here though, it has a featurette here, creating the loudest voice. But like I said, just want to let you guys know this one was available if you guys were interested. The next one here is from HBO, and this is Game of Thrones, the complete 8th season here. And this is the limited edition Steelbook, which includes the Blu-ray, the digital HD, as well as the 4K Ultra HD edition here, as well as a collectible magnet. And I'll open this up though to show you guys. But on here though, feature-wise, this has in-episode guide, histories and lore, commentary tracks, deleted scenes, extended behind-the-scenes featurettes, Game of Thrones documentary, The Last Watch. So lots of features on this one here. But with Game of Thrones though, that's one of those shows. Throughout the years, I have only seen a select handful of episodes. I've seen a couple episodes from the first season, and then I think the most this season, and then I think the season right before this one. And this is the final season of the show. But in here though, it has the collectible magnet, and since it's a steelbook, it stays on here like this. It's in this clear case like this, and it connects in here right in this spot. So it's kind of cool. You can put the magnet right there like that. But then here's a look though at the steelbook. Look here at the back, and inside though, like I said, you get the Blu-ray of the show, as well as the 4K discs of the show. But yeah, like I said, one of the guys know that this one was available. There's also a couple other ones available as well. Like there's a complete series set available, and there's also like a cool super limited edition version as well. The next one here is from Second Sight Films, and this is a region-free release. So this one you guys can watch no problem in U.S. Blu-ray players. There's no region code locking or anything like that on this, and really glad to have a Blu-ray of this, because in the US this was only released on DVD, and this is a great movie called Anna and the Apocalypse. It's a Christmas horror zombie musical. But on here too, it has two different cuts of the movie. It has the theatrical release cut as well as the extended cut. Now the theatrical release cut is actually longer than the US cut. The US cut, and I think the Canadian cut as well, used the US cut. And that cut, I think it took a song out and changed one or two things around. So it was a couple minutes shorter, that cut. So this is a longer cut, the theatrical cut. But this is basically though all about the character of Anna, who's in school, and kind of about it's set during Christmas time, and something ends up happening, and there's a zombie outbreak. And her father, though, works at the school doing the maintenance and everything. So her and her friends, though, are kind of having this party at this bowling alley, and they have to find their way and get back to the school, and they have to navigate through the city, which is taken over by zombies. But it's all a musical, so between the fighting the zombies, they have musical numbers, and it's actually really, really good music. That's the one thing about this movie, where if the music wasn't good, the movie would not work. And the music is great. It's actually really catchy music, and I really like this movie. I feel like this is one of those movies that in the U.S. it's went quite a bit under the radar, I feel like. And it's one of those ones I definitely would say you guys have got to check it out. And like I said, really cool to have a Blu-ray release of this. But like I said, it's a 2-disc set too. It has this one has the theatrical cut, audio commentary track on here with the director as well as the writer and the composer, behind the scenes featurette, alternate opening scene, Hollywood ending, cast and crew lip dub. It has on here deleted scenes, deleted song, Edinburgh Film Festival footage, gag reel outtakes. Disc 2 has the extended cut, the making of Anna and the Apocalypse, a feature-length documentary. It has on here though original short zombie musical written and directed by Ryan McHenry. So lots and lots of features on this one. I'll show you guys a look though inside as well. Like I said, it's a 2-disc set. Also, it has a booklet in here which has the songs. So it's really cool. It actually has the songs here and the lyrics and everything to the movie, and a bunch of different stills and everything. So it's a really, really cool release. And like I said, really cool that this is a region-free release, so you guys, everyone in the U.S. can watch this one no problem. There's no region code locking or anything with this one. And the next one I got here is from Epic Pictures, and it's from their Dread Presents line. It's a movie here called Automation, which stars Elijah Dowling. And this is basically, though, it's set in the future in like 2026, where it's set in this office building where they have this robot that works there. The robot is kind of doing tasks and helping with things, and kind of is becoming friends with some of the people that work there, especially Elijah Dowling's character, who works there doing like editing like corporate videos, and she like works there at night and everything. But essentially, though, the office, though, is, isn't telling the employees this, but they're getting ready to get rid of most of the employees and replace them all with robots. And it's essentially, though, the one robot there, though, what happens, though, is the robot, though, is starting to kind of do things that are not really in the programming. It's starting to kind of act a little different, doing things that are not really exactly the way they're supposed to be going, and not, like, kind of out of the norm. And even, like, you see the robot kind of, like, seeing things, like, flashbacks to, like, something that the robot was doing years in the back, like, before. But essentially what ends up happening, though, is, without saying too much, is this robot, though, finds out that this robot is going to basically be decommissioned. And when the robot finds out about this, it's basically the robot starts to kind of go slightly like crazy, and it starts to doing these erratic things and basically going after people. That's without saying too much. There's a whole lot more to this one, but that's essentially what's going on. But I really like this movie. I thought this was a really cool, set in the future, and they have like really well done, like futuristic kind of like the backdrops and everything to the areas and that they're in and everything. I really thought this was a cool movie. But on here, though, it has a whole bunch of different features. It has commentary tracks on here, deleted scenes, alternate scenes, bloopers, behind the scenes featurette. Also has on here, though, interview with the actor who does the voice of the robot in here, as well as bonus interviews. So lots and lots of features on this movie, but really, really fun film. The next ones here are a bunch of titles here from Gravitas Ventures, and the first one here is a movie called Anybody Home, and this is basically, though, and the one actress in here is from Edward Scissorhands, and I always think of her going, "Edward, you can't do that!" when she takes Edward Scissorhands back to the beauty parlor, and where she wants to like have Edward be there cutting hair and everything. But this, like I said, this is called Anybody Home, and this is it's basically, though, about this kind of a place where it's kind of falling apart, and it's like not really many people are there anymore. It's like a community where they wanted to have people work there in the houses and kind of like fix them up to kind of show them off. To get clients to buy them, like these kind of houses where like almost like model homes. And basically, though, it's not gone so well, and the mother goes there with her son, but like it's basically kind of abandoned. The area that they filmed it in looked almost like where the movie Goldfinch recently filmed. I don't know if it's the same area or not, but it looked a lot like that. Also like that area where they filmed the Danny McBride movie, where it was like him going kind of ballistic, which was a cool movie with Danny McBride. It kind of looked like that area, and also a little bit like Twin Peaks, the area where they filmed the newest season, in this kind of abandoned like Arizona type area. But basically, though, when she gets there, though, moves in here with her son, weird things are going on, and you see this one guy in this trailer nearby, and you're kind of wondering what's happening, and like the mother starts kind of acting erratic, and things start going very strange. And it's actually a really cool movie, and the son, too, is having these weird visions of like these rooms where everything is painted white and everything. I thought this was actually a really interesting movie. The other one here is a movie here from Gravitas Ventures as well, called Stay Out Alive, and this is about a group of these friends who were going like camping out in the middle of the woods, and the one friend goes missing. Like they at night, the friend goes out, and they don't know where she is, and they're looking for her, and they find out that, because the one guy just about falls into this hole thing in the ground, finds out that she fell down into this kind of like mine shaft in the ground, and basically, though, when they get down there, though, the one friend's leg is like pinned by this rock, and they can't get away, and they can't get her out. But when they get down there, though, they discover that there was this like gold. They're finding like gold out down there, and like they basically are like, oh, there's gold down there. And in the beginning of the movie, though, they were talking to the forest ranger played by Barbara Crompton, from Reanimator and tons of different movies. But she's like saying, stay out of those mines, don't mess around in mines if you see any mines. But they discover down there that they found this mine that was kind of hidden away, and they start finding gold there, and it's basically them going like kind of crazy, that they don't want to leave, and they like put the tent over the hole so no one can find it, and they want to like get all as much of this gold out of there. And it's kind of like what ends up happening with them when they've discovered this gold. The other one here is from Gregory's Adventures as well, and it's Manifest Destiny Down Space Time, and this is about it was basically like these two people that ended up hooking up at the this party, and they end up waking up, in the dorm, in the sorority house. And basically, when they wake up, they find out that like everyone has gone missing, and they have no idea what's happened. And it's basically, though, when they go around the campus and there's nobody around or anything like that, and they're trying to figure out exactly what has happened and what has happened to everybody and where is everybody. And they see like kind of like a Men in Black kind of guy, or like kind of like out of the Matrix kind of character, and he's like kind of around and like following them, and he's the other person they see. And it's kind of like basically it's dealing with aliens, and the aliens are trying to take over the planet kind of thing going on, and these people have to try and like save the day, and try and like dealing with time travel and all sorts of things to try and like stop the end of the world and the human race and everything. It's a very fun movie. This one here is a movie called, from Gregory's Adventures as well, called Pretty Little Stalker. And this is about this woman who writes it's like self-help books and stuff like that. And in the beginning of the movie, though, this woman's reading the self-help book, and it kind of encourages her to leave her husband. And she tells him about this, and the husband goes ballistic and ends up killing, his wife, and he kills himself. And then, right after this, though, the woman who wrote the book is like going around doing, writings and, signings and stuff like that. But she notices this one girl who's like following her around and kind of stalking her, and there's a connection to what's going on here. But basically, though, this girl is like stalking her, and like stalking, and then she starts like stalking the son, and like, but you know that there's something really off and bad about her, and it's kind of reminds me like a little bit of like a movie called I'm trying to think of what it was kind of like. Maybe Boy Next Door a little bit. A lot of like, there's lots of different stalker movies, but it has that kind of vibe to it, like a stalker thing, and it's just basically not a good thing. And the main actress here was from the show Awkward. And the last one from Gregory's Adventures is a movie that's directed by William Butler. So I was really interested in seeing this, and it's called Three Bears Christmas. Because I always, as a kid, I grew up watching like Shelley Duvall's fairy tale theater, and I always really loved, like the fairy tale stories like Hansel and Gretel, the Three Little Bears. I grew up really loving, as a kid, Zoobly Zoo. So I really like, too, because the creatures in here, the characters, the animals, like have like a throwback vibe to like Zoobly Zoo, or like the Shelley Duvall's fairy tale theater, like kind of like the movies that they don't really make anymore, is these kind of like classic kids films that are like this, but like old school the way they're done. And I really like that. It had a really old school vibe to this, and it was basically, though, about like there was like a curse that was put on the area where, because of something that happened, I can't remember exactly what happened, but it ended up turning the animals into human beings, and the human beings, not human beings, the animals are turned into like human-like, where they could walk and talk and everything like that, like humans. But then human beings couldn't come into the forest anymore, and it's basically about these two kids who are trying for Christmas to find this perfect gift. They wander around to try and find the gift, and they end up going to an area that they shouldn't have, like this haunted area. And a curse is put on one of them, and they end up turning into a human being, and then they have to try and figure out exactly how to, turn themselves back, and it's kind of all sorts of problems that happen and everything. But it's a really fun family Christmas movie here. And the next ones I got here are all from moviezing.com, and I'll have a link below where you guys can order these ones for the best price. But this one is also a Universal title. This is Abominable, and this also includes the 3D version of the film. This is a film that I didn't get to see in theaters, and really glad I got to watch this one. I really, really like this one a lot. It's basically, though, about like this, the character of the Abominable Snowman, who ends up escaping from this like facility where they're trying to, it's basically like where they have all these different rare animals and legendary animals and things that had never been before seen. Like this collector has all of them in his collection, these rare species and things like that. And the Abominable Snowman ends up getting away and like escaping, and ends up finding his way on the top of this roof and hiding out in this kind of like tent fort on the top of the roof that this one girl has, where she kind of like it's on the top of her apartment. She goes up there and like kind of hangs out at night and plays the violin and things like that. And essentially, though, she ends up discovering the Abominable Snowman, and they become friends. And the Abominable Snowman is trying to get back home to Mount Everest, and it's basically her and the Abominable Snowman and her one of the people who lives in two of the people that live in the building with her going on this journey to get the Abominable Snowman back. And it's one of these like real like positive movies, and it's like great. Like the Abominable Snowman has like these type of powers too that can kind of like move certain things and kind of make like berries grow in the woods and all kind of like magical powers and everything. And it's basically though about the characters trying to track down the Abominable Snowman and get it back to their collection. And like there's also other plans that they have, like the one person that's like that works there has like other plans for the Abominable Snowman as well. And it's basically though just this journey of them trying to get the Abominable Snowman back to Mount Everest. It's just a really, really fun family movie. If you guys saw this movie too, let me know what you guys thought. But on here though, it has 2 original short films, it has deleted scenes and some featurettes on this one. The next one here is from MovieZing as well, .com as well. And this is also a Universal title. It's a movie here called Monos. I believe that's how you say this. And this movie is kind of like this stars Moses Arias, who was most recently in 5 Feet Apart. And I think it's 5 feet apart or 6 feet apart. I can never remember. And he's been in a bunch of different films like Ender's Game. And it's basically though about it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies type film, and it's set in I think this was I believe it was in South America, and it's like these group of these kids that are all like up on this kind of mountainy area in the jungle kind of area, and they're all out there doing like training for. It's one of those movies where you kind of find out more about what's going on as this film goes along. But they're kind of training and doing kind of like army like type training out there, and they have a woman there who's kept as like hostage, and they basically though something ends up happening, and they end up having to go and hide out into the woods. And it's just a really interesting movie. It's a really, really well done, seriously well shot film. The acting wise, everything was really good in here. It's just a super visual movie, really interesting movie here. Like I said, this is called Monos here. The next ones here are from MovieZing.com as well, and these are also both here are Sony titles. And the first one here is The Cable Guy, and this is because this one was long out of print, and this has now been re-released, and it has all the original features on here, like deleted and extended scenes, HBO First Look, Comedy Central Canned Ham, the gag reel, music video on here. But essentially, though, this was directed by Ben Stiller and stars Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick. And Matthew Broderick's character ends up basically getting cable, and Jim Carrey's character plays the cable guy. And he's this like obsessed, weird, like he's always referencing TV shows and referencing movies and everything. And he kind of comes there and kind of forces his way to be friends with Matthew Broderick. And he's like stalkerous and weird and giving him like speakers and all these kind of things and these gifts. And when Matthew Broderick's character doesn't want to see him anymore, the stalking and the stuff gets worse and worse. And it's a great movie. It's one of those movies I have always loved. This movie, if you guys have never seen this movie, is an absolute must watch. Also here as well from Sony and MovieZing.com is Look Who's Talking, and this of course stars John Travolta, Kirstie Alley. And there's also was 2 sequels to this movie as well. I always really loved Look Who's Talking 2. That was one of my favorite ones. So hopefully they end up releasing that one as well on Blu-ray down the line. But this is basically though about Kirstie Alley's character who ends up becoming pregnant, and she's like unknowingly it wasn't like an unplanned pregnancy, and it's all from like the perspective of the baby. The baby's voiced by, and it's all like inner monologue of the baby, but it's voiced by Bruce Willis, and he's like all these kind of funny jokes and quips and all these kind of like pointing, like the baby's like having these jokes in his head that he's thinking about the characters that come into his life and everything. And It's basically, though, about, when on the way to the hospital, John Travolta's character is the driver, the cab driver, and, and he kind of like gets her to the hospital, and from there he's always kind of around and kind of coming around and helping Christiani's character out, but she doesn't really want to ever date him, but they always kind of have a thing together, but at the same time she's trying to find a father for her kid, and it's kind of about her going on all these different dates, but at the same time John Travolta's always around. But it's just a really, really fun movie. Oh, one of these ones, if you guys have never seen this movie, another one that's definitely a must-watch movie. Has on here, though, a commentary track on here. The next one here is from Movie Zing as well, and this is a series from CBS. And this, I believe this ran for 2 seasons. And it's a show called Superior Donuts. And this is one I totally missed when this was on. And I actually like this show a lot. This is a fun show. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the vibe of like Two Broke Girls. It had that kind of feel a little bit. And it's about this guy who runs this donut shop, and the donut shop is not really doing too well. It's kind of like right across the street they open up a Starbucks, and the one guy ends up coming there to work, and he's like, well, I can help you. I want to help this place grow and help this place become thriving. And he comes there with all kind of ideas about like sriracha donuts and ways to bring in more younger crowds, and it's kind of them having kind of a clash between each other, but at the same time he kind of is realizing that his ideas are helping. And the show's all about like the characters that come into the show, come into the donut parlor, the donut shop, and their kind of stuff, and just kind of all the problems that happen there, like Wi-Fi problems, and the one guy he wants to always is there trying to buy the business and buy the place as he wants to do something else with it. And it's actually, like I said, a really fun show that I totally missed when it was on. And the next one here is from MovieZing.com as well, and it's also from the Meridian Releasing Group. It's a movie here called Parched. And this is basically, though, about a group of these friends who are going out, and they're driving. It's like done found footage, and they're going out kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they end up going to this like abandoned house that they're staying at. And like when they get out there, it's so far from things, and they kind of realize that they didn't really plan ahead well. And there's like they're not close to anything with food. They didn't bring any water. There's no water in this abandoned place that they're in. And then they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And they end up going, "Well, there's this lake here, this creek. We could just drink that." And they drink it. And they think it seems all right. All but one of them ends up drinking it. It's essentially, though, it was not a good idea drinking this. And from doing this, it kind of ends up like they start kind of acting strange, and they start having kind of weird, they start feeling sort of sick, and kind of like it's kind of like the beginning of the end by doing this. And it kind of like things start to get worse and worse and worse as it goes along from drinking this. So like it was not a good idea. It was actually a pretty interesting film. And the last one here from MovieZing.com, this is also from 1091. This is a documentary here called We Believe in Dinosaurs. And this is about the building of the huge Noah's Ark, like attraction. I think it was in Kentucky, I believe, is where it was built. And it was this super expensive attraction. And I remember finding out about that because I believe it was Adam the Woo went to that. And he filmed it and showed the thing and everything there. This is all about, though, like the behind the scenes of making this. And it's also got different, people who are into the whole thing, and then people who are thinking that, who are not into the whole thing. And it's kind of like all about the people that they brought together to build this, and the kind of things that are in there, and the whole process and everything. It was a very, very well done documentary. The next one here, though, is from 4 Digital Media. And this one is also, I showed this one is available in Walmart as well. This is a movie here called Break. This movie was kind of like Frozen a little bit, although Frozen was all like set on a, just like a chairlift. But this is about a group of these friends who are going skiing, and they kind of were out there kind of late at night, kind of in a ski thing when there really wasn't too many people around. And they end up going to this huge, like, it's not like a chairlift, but it's like this huge, like, lift type thing where you kind of ride inside of it. And what ends up happening, though, is they end up it breaks down. They end up getting trapped kind of in the middle. And, like, they find, basically, they're trapped out there, and it's, like, getting colder and colder, like, there's this terrible cold front coming through. And it's kind of them trapped in there. And they're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to get out, how they're going to survive, and it becomes, like, an absolute nightmare. Like I said, it has that kind of vibe to the movie Frozen a little bit. This one here is from, what's the name of the company here? I think it's Tri-Coast. Pictures. From Dark Coast Worldwide. And this is a movie that stars Jake Busey called Ghosts in the Graveyard. In the beginning of this movie, it was kind of reminding me of that episode of Afraid of the Dark when they were going in, like flashlight tag in the graveyard, and a group of these friends are like all playing this game with the flashlight tag and like chasing each other through the graveyard and everything. But the one kid in there in the beginning of the movie, she ends up falling into this grave and ends up dying. And you know, years later though, the one girl ends up coming back. They kind of left the town for a while because she had like sorts of problems and things like that, and left, and she comes back into town. And right when she gets back into town though, people start kind of like dying and things start to happen. But people are seeing this girl, the girl that died. They're seeing her like ghost kind of haunting around. They're seeing her like in the graveyard. People that encountered her are getting killed off. And it's basically though the police and stuff are looking at the girl who came back into town, like going, could she be involved? Could she be committing these murders? What's actually going on here? And it's pretty much just all about this town and kind of what had happened there. And it also deals with like witches, because at the beginning of the movie though, when the girl dies, you see like some kind of witches doing some kind of a spell and all sorts of things. It's actually a really interesting movie on here. And then like some of the people who pop up in here, there are like Nikki Bronsky from, you know, who played Tracy Turnbull in, you know, the Hairspray remake. Marie Olsen is in here playing one of the witches. I was in the movie The Haunting of Whaley House with her, but a really cool horror movie here. And the last one here is from PBS, and it's a brand new collection here of Mr. Rogers episodes, and this is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers and Making Mistakes. And this is an hour and 40 minutes here, and this is in Mr. Rogers and Making Mistakes. Watch memorable episodes where Mr. Rogers helps children understand that everyone makes mistakes from time to time. World-famous pianist Andre Watts performs for Mr. Rogers, and together they talk about practicing and learning from mistakes. I think it's really cool to be seeing more releases of, you know, Mr. Rogers coming out. Like, you know, this as a kid though, growing up, I always watched like Mr. Rogers. I watched Reading Rainbow and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Those are some of like my earliest things I remember watching. So really cool to see more and more releases of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood coming out to DVD here. But anyway though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.